We now have a YouTube channel! Exclamation
Good.
point
How am I coming
YouTube.
through?
Look how many new videos have been posted. 5 new videos. They're all between 8 and 25 minutes. Perfect videos. Get in there. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the YouTube subscription button. What are you doing? He's just so dumb. Fuck Ben Shapiro. The Pelosi briefing is right now? Okay. See, briefing, video, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to watch
help
this?
for renters,
Just
for
started.
food insecure, and observe Martin Luther King Day Monday. Today is actually Reverend Martin Luther King's birthday. And as we observe it in this extraordinary time, it's important to remember his words. All of them so appropriate.
Happy
one time
birthday,
or
MLK.
another. Today I remember him saying, true peace is not merely
I don't need to change shit. This title's
the
perfect.
absence of tension. It is the presence of justice.
Wow.
I particularly am drawn to that phrase because one of my favorites that I have in my office is
The sentence before that says
Pope
white
Paul
liberals or white
VI.
moderates are the problem.
He said, if you want peace, work for justice. The connection is very clear. Justice is called for
No, we're
as
going to
we
watch Bernie
address
on Colbert later. Don't
the
worry.
act of insurrection, who were part of organizing it and incentivizing.
Okay, so she's going to be talking about this for a bit, but let me just throw some commentary here, which is this was always going to happen.
And how we can keep our members safe.
The Congress is not going to allow itself to be physically intimidated or punked like this. They control the money in our country. That's Congress's role. They write the budget. So every single thing that's associated with the federal government has to flow through Congress. And when you fucking intimidate the Congress as an organization, they're going to sick every single federal agency on your ass.
Questions?
They're going to show you that actually Congress does have power. I wouldn't be surprised if every single fucker who walked into Congress eventually gets arrested. And they're not going to show any leniency. It's going to be harsh, actually, in my opinion.
Let me start with that. We're very pleased with what the Vice President put forth last night. I'm eagerly awaiting some of the particulars of the vaccine proposal that will come out this afternoon, because this is a matter of complete urgency. As the Vice President said last night,
Trump's DOJ ends in 5 days, man. That's not enough to do a trial.
The Trump administration handled the distribution of the vaccine in a very disappointing way. He used stronger language. But now we have to move on and do it in the right way, and that will require
Give me the motherfucking vaccine!
It will require
Give me a vaccine! What's taking so long?
How it will be done effectively,
I want a party!
We'll know more about. I have some idea about it because we've made suggestions in that regard. But I think that the message of last night and later today from the Vice President
I want a party right now. Where's my motherfucking vaccine?
To encourage people to, again, when they are, it's appropriate for them to receive the vaccine to do so. But as was said, as will be said, it's not just about the vaccine. It's about testing and distancing. Mike, we all know you're not going to party.
Oh, T-Tone,
as we go forward, so
I'm rich now, baby. I'm rich now. I'm not. I'm poor.
Crush the virus, which is what we must do.
Student loans, man.
Crush the virus so we can open our schools and our businesses. I won't be rich for a long time. Honor our heroes who are on the front line of this, our healthcare workers, our police and fire, first responders, transportation,
can't even be a champagne socialist because I owed
food workers,
too much student loans.
Our teachers, and put money in the pockets of the American people so that the lives and the livelihood of the American people are addressed. So we're hoping that we can work in a bipartisan way as we go forward.
Aren't you 60? How do you still have loans? Okay,
as I mentioned, we
10K wouldn't even make a dent in my student loans. Like not even, wouldn't even notice it.
There was an act of insurrection perpetrated on the Capitol of the United States, incentivized by the President of the United States. 1 week later, Wednesday to Wednesday, that president was impeached in a bipartisan way by the House of Representatives. So urgent was the matter. They're now working on taking this to trial, and you'll be the first to know when we announce that we're going over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're thinking about prosecuting some of those QAnon members.
When we're talking about security, we have to talk about truth and trust. In order to serve here with each other, we must trust.
It's bipartisan. If there's more than one Republican, it's technically bipartisan.
Respect for this institution. We must trust each other, respecting the people who sent us here. We must also have the truth, and that will be looked into.
She's saying they're going to investigate the QAnon members.
If, in fact, it is found that members of Congress were accomplices to this insurrection, if they aided and abetted the crime, there may have to be actions taken beyond the Congress and in terms of prosecution for that. Yes, sir.
We all are seeing the extraordinary security measures now in place here on the Capitol and really throughout much of the district. I'm just wondering your level of comfort about next week's inauguration.
Let me just say, and thank you for the question, as a member of the JSIC, the committee that prepares for the inauguration, for a long time now, weeks, it has been determined that we would have a very small inauguration because of COVID. That in order to have the distancing and the rest on the platform and then some people down below, it would be necessary to limit it. I don't know if they have publicly released the numbers, so I won't, but a very small number of people, a tiny percentage of the people participated before. Most disappointing because obviously we're excited about nominating a new president of the United States, but not at the risk of people's health and well-being and indeed their lives. So this is always going to be small.
Matty B keeps getting added
now
from
with the insurrection of last week, it is necessitated by security to have
they didn't. We'll
more
check that
security. But it hasn't changed the nature
Thank you, Nia.
of the swearing in. I think it's important for people to know that. This is not a concession to the terrorist. It is a recognition of the danger of COVID. Again, I'm in close touch with, I will be again for like the third time in 2 days with the Secretary of the Army, that the requests that are made by the Capitol Police are being honored by those who are in a position to meet the needs. It depends on the intelligence, and we have to have more security than the intelligence might warrant. I think in this case, redundancy may be necessary. Not too much, but enough. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First off, the Republicans are saying that as far as the metal detectors are concerned, that the danger on January 6th came from the outside, not the inside. And secondly, as far as the Speaker's lobby is concerned, totally different issue. When can we expect that to be opened for us? And will it be when the pandemic ends? And when do you see that happening as far as
it won't be 1 minute before it is safe to do so from a COVID and a security standpoint, or 1 minute later than that. Yes, sir.
Madam Speaker, while Representative Ryan's subcommittee will be investigating the Capitol Police.
I'm sorry?
While Representative Ryan's subcommittee will be investigating the Capitol Police.
Oh, Ryan, Tim Ryan.
Right.
For benefit of the legislative branch of the Appropriations Committee, yes.
At the bare minimum, what would you like to see in reforms of the U.S. Capitol Police, especially in light of allegations from members of the caucus of institutional racism within the police force and also maybe even collusion in the insurrection? What reforms would you like to see?
Well, I think the investigation is central. That has to come first. But there will be, in addition to Mr. Chairman Ryan's Ledge Branch Committee, we have Homeland Security Committee. We have issues that relate to intelligence from Judiciary and Intelligence
gifted. That's
Committee.
Crazy.
We have the Armed Services Committee. So there'll be a full the committees will be doing their oversight in many different ways. And of course, the Appropriations
yes,
Committee and the Oversight Committee have overarching responsibility. But again, the investigation will tell us what we need to know to have truth so that we can trust the system that we have here. And it is...
You have to
it's so
stop doing this
sad.
working, man.
Imagine, like 10
You got
days
a prime,
ago,
dude. Give me your prime.
as I said,
what the fuck?
we really lost our innocence in this because we always prepared to protect and defend from all enemies, foreign. But the Constitution also says, and domestic. And now we have to protect ourselves from enemies domestic. How close within? The investigation
Wow.
will let us know. I said,
Pelosi is
definitely
pissed off. Holy fucking hell. Her last word is we've got to protect against domestic enemies? Oh my god. Wow. Her last word was we're going to protect against domestic enemies. Okay, well, I use it on Hassan. Oh, okay, that's a good choice. Just call them terrorists already. I hope she's preparing to throw some people from Congress. I mean, so that rotates us over to a story. The tension within the Congress is growing quite a bit. Apparently there is word of lawmakers who conspired with some of the people that breached the Capitol and it was mentioned in that interview with Nancy Pelosi about the idea of charging them criminally. And some Democrats are openly saying that they think some of the Republicans are conspiring to kill them or might kill them. I covered this last night in my stream, but there have been hundreds of complaints by Black Capitol police officers about racism of the Capitol Police Force since 2001. They need to be renovated immediately. So, if any members of Congress are proven to have colluded with the rioters, their position likely won't save them from criminal liability. Lawmakers who interacted with the pro-Trump protesters who rioted at the Capitol last week could face criminal charges and will almost certainly come under close scrutiny in the burgeoning federal investigation into the assault, former prosecutor said. This is incredibly serious, said Ron Manchin, a former U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. Although you would need compelling evidence before charging a member of Congress. Unlike the president, there's no Justice Department policy shielding members of Congress from legal accountability while in office. I'd say those are potentially viable prosecutions. I'd say those guys should be worried. The role members of Congress may have played in facilitating the deadly attack drew intense attention this week after Democratic lawmakers alleged that some of the Republican colleagues facilitated tours of the Capitol on January 5th, one day before demonstrators engaged in the assault that terrorized lawmakers, ransacked congressional offices, and left as many as 5 people dead. Rep. Mickey Sherrill sent a letter Wednesday formally asking the Capitol Police and congressional officials to investigate the tours, which she said were unusual. In a Facebook video, she said the videos amounted to a reconnaissance of the next day. The tours were being conducted on Tuesday, January 5th, were a noticeable and concerning departure from the procedures in place as of March 2020 that limited the number of visitors to the Capitol. The visitors encountered by several members of Congress on this letter appeared to be associated with the rally on the White House at the White House the following day. Sherrill suggested that access raised the possibility that visitors were casing the building for the assault that unfolded the next day. What the hell just happened? Dito with the 50 gifted subs? What the hell? Wait, the tour thing was real? I thought it was a fake story. Yeah, no, it's real. The thing is real. And they're investigating it. Casing is when a criminal looks at a building or location in anticipation of a plan to commit criminal activity. That's what casing a building is. Casing the joint. You may have heard about it. AOC said their emergency buttons were ripped out as well. Makes me wonder when those were ripped out. And yeah, yeah. We heard about that. Mike, I've watched you twice as much as Hassan this year. 880 hours. Poggies. Casing have a legal framework? Sure. I assumed it was real because it wasn't weird enough to be a lie. Yeah. Members of the group that attacked the Capitol seem to have an unusually detailed knowledge of the layout of the Capitol complex, she wrote. Given the events of the January 6th, the ties between these groups inside the Capitol complex and attacks on the Capitol need to be investigated. If you've ever been to the Capitol, it's a fucking confusing building.
That's Braxis.
So, especially there's like secret offices that Congress people have where they could just chill out, that are not their official offices that have their like names on it and stuff. Pussy Riots, thanks for the tier 1. That's a great name. That's a great name. So
That's Braxis.
that is definitely something that needs to be investigated. Okay, my best clip ever. Hackstock gate. I have a noise gate. See, look. Gate. I have a okay. First of all, I was too loud. See, the thing about the noise gate is if you're directly in front of the mic, it's like good. But if you go over to the side, it doesn't work. Can't hear me talk really very well. I'm behind them. Fuck! It's not working. Too close. Members. How do you see why I need a new mic? Okay.
That's Braxis.
Justice Department officials said they are looking for all actors who were involved in the Capitol riot. The FBI has also called on the public to turn over evidence to those instigated violence.
That's Braxis.
The chief organizer of Stop the Steal, one of the groups behind the January 6th protests that ended in a violent assault at the Capitol, has claimed to be working with several Republican members of the House to organize the event. But it remains to be seen whether any coordination ahead of last week's rally extends to complicity into the storming of Congress. I hope we understand that if this was an inside job, whether it was members or staff or anyone working at the Capitol who helped these attacks better navigate the Capitol, that is going to be investigated. Falwell has also called out for specific GOP lawmakers on Twitter, such as Lauren Boebert, for seeming to disclose House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's movements during the attack. To hell with the Ethics Committee, these people need to be charged criminally, said Sean Patrick Maloney, said on the same network. The issue even arose during the historic impeachment debate on the House floor when Rep. Cedric Richmond said colleagues may well be co-conspirators. Lawyers with experience prosecuting complex criminal cases said anyone who helped the rioters survey the Capitol could face grave charges. It's deadly serious, said former federal prosecutor Harry Littman. It's kind of like giving troop movements to the enemy. Oh, man. Under criminal law principles, even those with minor roles could be held liable for the worst offenses of the rioters. Talking it through with them is really conspiracy territory. That means you're potentially on the hook for everything that's reasonably foreseeable. And knowing this cast of characters, it seems to be that everything from trespassing to use of weapons to incendiary devices is reasonably foreseeable. If the evidence proves it, they could be on for the hook for everything, up to seditious conspiracy. Wow. Holy shit. If a member of Congress led the insurrectionists around the Capitol the day before the attack, and there was compelling evidence of complicity in the breach, congressional members were actively aiding and abetting people trying to storm the Capitol and disrupt the electoral certification, that's really as close to being at the heart of a seditious conspiracy charge as you could hope to find. Several experienced attorneys noted that any prosecution of political actors would be brought in Washington and that a local jury is unlikely to be sympathetic to claims that speakers were being colorful and not criminal. I would have guessed that a jury would not find it very convincing. And these cases are going to be tried in D.C., and the jury isn't going to buy this. Okay, I think that's about all we have with this. Oh, man.
And put money in the pockets of the American people.